Welcome, welcome to the New Vision Center. I'm Reverend Karin Lewis. I am the other senior minister here. Another Sunday with both of us on the platform, so yay for us. That's what I say. Here we are. And I am so grateful for that song, and thank you so much. And you will hear, yes. It is a beautiful, beautiful song, and it is really my entire talk. So I am contemplating to just sit down. But there are things I want to share with you. And I'm going to start with sharing some news about our beloved Fred Alweg. I believe we have a picture of him. He's our drummer. And on Tuesday, he took a fall, and it resulted in the need to have brain surgery. He is fine. He's totally fine. I saw him on Wednesday morning. He recognized me. We talked. I know several members of the community went to see him. He's alert. He was joking with some people. And you know, that's always a really good sign. And there's some healing that will have to take place. So I'm inviting all of us. Let's rub our hands together. Let's create some warmth, and let's send it over to Fred, knowing his wholeness is revealed and that he is healing fast so he can come back to us to play those amazing drums. Yes, thank you. And while we are in this space, let's go ahead and take a moment and just look around, see who is with you on this journey. Let's just take a look. Who's here? Yes. Notice people you know, new people, just seeing one another. And we like to do that for our stream audience, the people who are watching us via computers, TVs, everywhere in the world. We are so grateful that you're here. The New Vision Center. And people continue to stream in. Come on in. Yes, we like it. So, today, my talk. I've been a minister for almost a year now, right? Next week it will be an entire year. And it still surprises me how much the talk is working me all week long. It's like, okay, when am I going to get that message? And I am so grateful for the song because I have been playing that song over and over, reminding me that when I feel weak, truth is I'm strong. Regardless of how we show up, we are showing up. We are here. Because there's a message that this world needs to hear. There's a message of hope and truth and love. And so we can't shy away from that. I can't shy away from that. So here we are. And the talk title today is Freedom. And it's really the freedom that calls us back over and over again to our path and reminds us to keep our eyes on the goal, whatever that goal is for us. And it also comes with a price. There is a price to be paid. There's something that we have to give up to experience freedom. And freedom is the same as love, God, Spirit, the allness of life. So that is the journey. We are greatly supported. We have the song that will, lead us through this sermon. And we have our new friend, Genevieve Behrend. This wonderful book would be great to have it on every bookshelf. It's one of those books that one can open and connect with the story of this lady who became a widow very early in life and set out to find her path, to find her way in the world. She was in the wonderful position that her husband had left her money to be comfortable, and she was looking to find what is mine to do. Now, this book was written in 1929. She probably, well, I can tell you, she didn't say, what's mine to do. That's our speak, right? What's mine to do? She said that the reason she went looking for something more was because she felt so lonely. Even amongst her friends, she felt spiritually isolated. She was yearning to find that what Cerise so beautifully sang about, that feeling of, even when I don't know it, the truth is, I am whole. And can we relate to that? I can tell you I can relate to that this week. I was looking for that. When things happen, when the phone calls come, how can I anchor into the truth that there is one source that makes itself known through me as me, that I can let go and lay down any limiting beliefs that I have about myself, so that I can fully show up for what is mine to do? Because that is the calling. That is the calling if you're called to be a minister, a mother, a friend, a bookkeeper. It matters not. You can tell I get excited about this. I want to share with all of us what Genevieve found on her search. She came across a writing from Thomas Troward, the judge from England. And here is what she read that changed the trajectory of her life. My mind is the center of divine operation. This divine operation is always for expanding and fuller expression, and this means the production of something beyond what has gone before, something entirely new, not included in the past experience, though proceeding out of it by an orderly sequence of growth. So, my mind is a center of divine operation. Let's all say that together. My mind is the center of divine operation. And when we take on a statement like that, inevitably at one point, exactly what Beth was talking about happens. It drops from the words into our hearts. It makes that journey. My mind is a center of divine operation. And so Genevieve took this mantra and she said it over and over and over until she felt it with every cell of her being, with every inch of her body and knowingness. And she would walk down the cobblestones and she would say, my mind is a center of divine operation. Because you see, she connected with her vision. She connected with that what brought her into the now moment, the thing she was yearning for. She found this teacher that she wanted to study with. She created the money. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. She manifested the money. And then there was the little challenge of Thomas Troward saying, I am so flattered, but I do not take any students. Now, how many of us would say, the end? Okay, that didn't work. Not Genevieve. Genevieve connected with that writing when she lived in New York. And she did not look left or right, listen to the rejection of the teacher she wanted to study with, but she walked her path. If you haven't read the book, close your ears, I'm going to give it away. She is the only student that ever worked with Thomas Troward, the only person he took on to train. So she was clear. This is my path. This is how I'm going to walk it out. Now, in contrast, I would like to introduce you to my path. Something like that, right? Yeah. Now, I'm not going to ask for a show of hands. Just in the sacredness of your own mind, ask yourself, which one is closer to my path? And we are here. We are here. This week, every day, many, many, many times a day, I said to myself, my mind is the center of divine operation. And it's helped so much. This quote that she found goes on saying, therefore, since the divine cannot change its inherent nature, it must operate in the same manner within me. Consequently, in my own special world, which I like to call Karin's universe, of which I am the center, it will move forward to produce a new condition, always in advance of any that have gone before. That is assured. That is the divine nature. That is what is guaranteed. That is truth. Imagine with me for a moment. If it helps, close your eyes. Imagine with me for a moment if we live from that place where we say, this is nature, and nature is just having its way with me. And even though I don't quite know how to do this, I trust that there's something greater than I am that does. Yeah. So the path, what's important when we walk the path is to know exactly what conditions we wish to produce. How do I want to feel when I arrive wherever that arriving place is? How do I want to feel? There's probably things that come up like, I want to feel loved. I want to feel that I belong, that I can make a contribution, that who I am is enough. Because isn't that what we all want to feel? Yes. So it is important for us to get really clear, what are the conditions that will pull me forward so I stay on my path? And then, how can I direct the flow without strenuous effort? How can I place myself into this knowingness that life is for me? Reverend Leslie always says, the universe is for us. The universe is for me. Troward says it wonderfully. He says this, nature, from her clearly visible surface to her most arcane depth, is one vast storehouse of light and good, entirely devoted to your individual use. Now, I love that. Does that remind you of what Ernest Holmes says when he says there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it? Same thing. It is nature. The race is already over because we're here. And we're human. So part of what happened for me this week is this next slide. I was doing Karin, doing my work, being called, doing this, doing that. And I noticed I was a lot in those other cars instead of in my own. And so I thought I would bring this slide just to remind me to stay in my own lane. Yeah. I see people nodding, right? We say that a lot. Stay in your own lane. Nobody can do what I do just the way I do it. And that is not because I think so much of myself, but that's just truth. It's the same for you, and you, and you, and you, and every person. We can only do that what is ours to do. And it behooves us to look for it. So how do we anchor into the goal? Well, Genevieve invites us to take a mental picture. There's the goal, right? She wanted to be on a passage, on a ship to go from New York to England to study with Thomas Troward in a little cottage in England, and she needed a bunch of money. That was her goal. What is your goal? What is it that wakes you up in the morning and makes you jump out of bed? What is it? I see people looking at each other and saying, you are. Yeah. Here's my goal. To create a community where spiritual principles are lived out over breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and where people come together to share this experience called life. I had this vision for over a decade, and I think now it's the time. It is the time to bring it forward, because I've been looking around. Nobody else has been doing it yet in the way I want to do it. So you heard it here. There's my goal. Yay! So we looked at the path. We looked at the power of the goal that pulls us forward. What is the price? What is the price we have to pay? We have to be willing to give up some things. Blame, control, and we have to engage in forgiveness. Let's all take a breath. We have to be willing to forgive everyone for everything. Period. I can hear people arguing with me, well, Karin, clearly you don't know what so-and-so did to me. I know. I totally hear you. Yeah, I totally hear you. Believe me, when we are faced with those deep pains that have been produced by someone else, that is exactly how we feel. I'm teaching a forgiveness class that is completing this Tuesday, and last week in a wonderful conversation, we put everything that we felt about forgiveness on the board just to get it out, just to get it out. And there was can I say hello? The heck no, except it wasn't heck. Yeah. And then we have to figure out, how are we with that feeling within us? And the world, enlightened teacher and sages tell us you have to forgive everything that everybody ever has done to you, period. That's the work. Yeah. Yeah. And I am not saying it's easy. It is not. We have to be so committed to our goal, to that what we want to bring forward, that we understand that I have to walk through this. That walking through forgiveness is the only place, the only way to get to where I want to be. And we have to find ways to support us on that journey. That is one journey that is so much easier with another, with someone that you trust, with someone who can sit with you when it goes down there in the mud, and who can just be there without fixing you, without telling you how you can do this better, just is there with you, willing to be present. The Course in Miracle says it this way: you who want peace can only find it by complete forgiveness. And we can substitute peace for love, for freedom, for any quality of the divine, for exactly the way you want to show up in this world. Freedom. This call for us to be who we authentically are. It is not going away. It is not going away. It will call you forth and yearn for you to express it in so many ways. And sometimes life has a tendency to wake us up with a little 2x4. Oh. This is my invitation for us to take this coming week to look for ways to walk down our individual path a little further, to clarify the goal that we have and make it a little brighter. When you hear an inspired idea about it, check it out. See, is that a way? Could I do that? And to let go, to lay down control, to surrender, to forgive. That is the only way that I know to come into this now moment. Thank you. And so let us anchor all of this in prayer. I ask that all the practitioners and ministers in the room, please stand with me, hold this space of deep knowingness so that we can open up together, all of us, opening our mind, our heart, our entire being to the deep knowingness that truth says we are whole, we are strong, we are complete just the way we are in this now moment. As we breathe into the center of our being, let us affirm that spirit is right where I am. At the very center of our being, the I am, source, God. First cause, spirit, has its way. Rumi said, God built a temple in your heart. Go there often. And as we rest in this center of our being, in the great I am, we feel any limiting beliefs melting away, falling away into the nothingness from which they came, and that all that we are left with is the light and the beauty and the power of the One. Thank you. Thank you, life. Thank you, Spirit, for allowing us to feel that vibration, that truth. As we let go of anything that doesn't belong to us, that is not ours to do. And so I simply place this word into universal law, knowing it is done, it is complete. And we anchor it together as we say, and so it is.